Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss yours and our favorite comedies. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, first in the Northern Bay Area, is Cyberpunk Greg Larson. Although it's kind of weird is I don't see like eyes all over the place or ears or whatever. You seem normal, not like what I've seen in the game of just, weird stuff in people's faces and weird stuff, I believe they're referred to, what's the term I'm looking for? Oh yeah, bugs. So they need some raid in the future.
Well, Ozzy, feel game.
Sorry, what?
Going.
Oh, there's the cyberpunk. There's the cyberpunk we all know and love. And also, of course, Flesh Wound producer Todd. Todd, how are you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I just know you both got Bowser on, so I do know some video games.
Holy Toledo! No wonder you complimented the shirt. I thought you complimented the shirt because it's like, I mean, if you're watching the video version, I got Bowser on there, and I have Mario. It's supposed to be like Mad Max, right? And Greg has a Bowser jersey on. Todd's the odd man out with no Bowser. I didn't even plan for this.
Shocker. When he took the compliment, he didn't care what you were wearing. He's just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't. It's like you didn't point it out. It's because
I said it.
Hold on a second. I got to be honest. I have a light right here, and I'm not. I got to take a picture and send you. The light here is actually blocking the center of Greg's jersey. So when he mentioned it, I didn't see the Bowser on his jersey. That's why I just look to the side here. I just move a little bit and I see it. Now what? You gonna still get on my case?
Probably, but
we'll find something.
You know what? You don't even support video games, man. What do you know?
I have a Nintendo.
Yeah, but do you have a Nintendo t-shirt? Exactly.
Closest I got to a Tron t-shirt. Does that count?
Oh, you just dated yourself.
It could have been Tron Legacy.
High school.
No.
Juggler joke.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I promise we do have an actual show here. This week we are reviewing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation starring Chevy Chase. But before we get there, we had a new segment last week where we like to stupidly dissect a commercial. And this commercial that we're going to show here for the video, and of course I'll describe for the audio, although it's not going to need much describing. Now, I do apologize as the recording was not posted on any website. This is something I recorded off my phone from the TV, and once you see the actual commercial, you'll know why. So without any further ado, this is a commercial for Mercedes-Benz of Anaheim. Todd, please roll the commercial.
Mercedes-Benz of Anaheim is bringing you exclusive Black Friday offers from now until the end of the month. This is your chance to get exceptional specials on your favorite models, including C-Class and E-Class sedans and coupes, GLE SUVs, and the coveted S-Class coupe. Visit AnaheimMercedes.com to shop our extensive inventory, or just stop in and see us.
Okay, now here's what's really frustrating is I spent somewhere in a lot of money. Let's just say a lot of money for going to broadcasting school, where we spent weeks in lectures about voiceovers and what to do for commercials and stuff like that. And what this commercial is, if you're listening on the audio here, what you just heard, the voiceover, you saw what the voiceover script was on the screen. The video version just showed the dealership at dusk with the words of the voiceover scrolled up. As if you couldn't read yourself, we got this guy to read it for you. And let's show you what they say, because you know what? Everybody loves subtitles, right?
Sorry. It would be great to see the subtitles on during that commercial.
Oh my gosh.
And I just love that this is for not only a Mercedes, like the video quality of it alone, and even the graphics of the font are pretty cheap. and it's a Mercedes BMW commercial from Anaheim Hills, of all places. Like, how can you be that cheap when you're trying to sell luxury in Anaheim Hills?
What I find most fascinating is that you would also trust the dealership with your vehicle. Like if there's something wrong with your car, take it to the mechanic there. So it's not difficult to find an like somebody who's taking a college class in video editing and ask them to put something. I guarantee this is somebody's kid. This was somebody's kid that put this together for peanuts. We're like, oh yeah, you know, so he could do something, and maybe this kid's in high school with the you know intent of. And okay, I just want to clarify something, because again, if you're listening to the audio, you think I'm being too harsh. No, I'm not, because they spent money on this. They put this on TV. If I had the money to buy, like Greg was saying, they're selling luxury vehicles. If I had the money to purchase a luxury vehicle and this is the commercial I saw, I would not trust the people that are selling me the cars to be intelligent, because that intelligent was absent when they sought someone to make a commercial. I think my rationale is pretty sound. Sorry.
Unless Mr. LaRusso's been bringing on a new kid who's been helping out, doing really well, wanted to give him a chance to piss off his dad. So, Cobra Kai reference for those of you who have not seen Cobra Kai.
I love it. However, at the same time, if it was Reseda, I would give you massive bonus points. If it was like Mercedes-Benz of Reseda, like 100,000 points.
Right.
But this is Anaheim Hills. I mean, come on. Daniel LaRusso wouldn't be welcome in Anaheim Hills. As established in the original Karate Kid movie, right? I mean, come on.
Now. Right.
All right. Now, that was that. I'm sorry, Todd. Anything else before I move on to our movie review about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
I'm just curious, if did he like actually watch the commercial as he was reading the
No, so it seems like they finished the visual of the commercial and they sent it to the voiceover, and or maybe that was actually supposed to be them sending the script to him, and so we're gonna do something else, but just make the audio. So he cut the voiceover and he sent it back to him, and they're like, you know what? Let's just put that audio with the visual and let's call it a day. I mean, to be a fly on the wall in that meeting when that approval was made, because everybody's, I doubt nobody in the dealership saw it before it went to air. I'm sure people saw it. I would pay so much money to be a fly on the wall to see the reactions. Hey, here's the new commercial we're going to air. And then that happened.
They're like, it's great, boss.
I would pay so much money to see that. I would pay more than a Mercedes vehicle to see the reaction of that commercial rather than the vehicle itself. Holy Toledo. All right. So we're all good. Now we can move on to the review of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yes?
I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Excellent. Now, this week, we did review National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. As I said, this film was released on December 1st, 1989, and was written by, now the fact his director was Jeremiah S. Chechik, but the screenwriter, or rather, screenplay was by John Hughes. And the synopsis reads, as the holidays approach, Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase, wants to have a perfect family Christmas, so he pesters his wife, Ellen, Beverly D'Angelo, and children as he tries to make sure everything is in line, including the tree and house decorations. However, things go awry quickly. His hick cousin, Eddie, played by Randy Quaid, and his family show up unplanned and start living in their camper on the Griswold property. Even worse, Clark's employers renege on a holiday bonus that he needs. That last part of the synopsis kind of cuts into the very end of the movie, but this movie is extremely popular. Everybody that I've talked about, that whenever the topic of Christmas movies comes up, this is one of the top 3 of all Christmas movies that show up. So I'm not really worried about any spoiler alerts. We're familiar. Sorry, go ahead.
I do want to say that wasn't always the case. This one, like A Christmas Story and some others, it took a few years to really get like it is now. Like in the last 10 years, it really blew up. Maybe the last 15, but it wasn't like it is now. Kind of like Christmas Story was, just no one cared about like 30 years
Well,
ago.
the thing about
20,
Christmas
24.
Story is that Turner got the rights and just played it nonstop, and repetition became
And they did the
turned
same
it
thing
into
with
an event.
And they did the same thing with Christmas Vacation. They didn't do the 24-hour, but it was in constant rotation because it's owned by Warner Brothers, and so was TNT and TBS. So that helped that one also.
But it wasn't in constant. There wasn't a 24.
Oh no, they didn't do a 24-hour. I think they do now. Someone does now.
Wow.
With Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, I want to say someone does, but I'd have to look it up.
I wish I could bet you money on that.
Well,
You can.
I don't.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. Here's a fact then for you. Do you know that Christmas Vacation is the only vacation movie that does not play the song Holiday Road, even though it's a holiday?
Interesting.
Christmas Vacation is the only one that does not play Holiday Road. They played Holiday Road in Vegas Vacation?
Yep. Everyone, even the remake.
Wow.
So
in European Vacation, they played Holiday Road.
Absolutely. I just watched European Vacation.
I actually
What
don't
about Christmas Vacation 2?
Oh,
you know what?
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna kill these right now, real quick. Of course, when I try to look, listen. When I look up information, I look up on the IMDb. I had no idea there was a Christmas Vacation 2 that he goes on an island, and then I found that I didn't even click on it in fear that somebody. Oh, you know what? This click contributed to an X amount of clicks. Maybe we should put this movie out further, and the answer is no. We're in an age where people just have content thrown up against whatever. We do not need a sequel to Christmas Vacation with no Chevy Chase. I mean, Vacation's got to be a Griswold, not the cousin who. I mean, he's
okay. Well, then
end rant.
I'm going to say this then, since I don't know. The only Vacation with Chevy Chase not to feature Holiday Road. Is that better?
There.
I'll allow it.
No.
Oh, wait, but you know what?
Yes.
I will give you a Christmas Vacation 2 fact. It's the only time the same actress has ever played the same character as one of the children. Audrey returns for that one, the original Audrey.
Oh, nice. So does that make her Audrey too?
The original, the original Audrey. Now, it was Juliette Lewis in this film that played Audrey. Yes. The original Audrey returned for this straight to DVD Christmas Vacation sequel. Oh man.
Yeah. And okay, here is the last little fact from this part. Do you know why we have different children every time?
It wasn't every time. European Vacation were the same kids. Every
Chevy Chase movie. Let's do that. Do it that way. Do you know why their children change every time?
Why? Because
Anthony Michael Hall declined to do Vacation and instead did another John Hughes movie, Weird Science. So they didn't want to bring just the one back, so that he decided they were going to recast both kids.
How bad does the other one feel? She's like, "What? I'm okay for the kid. I need the money."
But at the same time, would that have worked?
What do you mean?
Think about Juliette Lewis really made Audrey her own, and I think that the way she acted and her dialogue wouldn't have really fit with the character that we became familiar with in the other Vacation movies.
I agree.
So, and then plus everything that's written for the kid is that he's a smaller kid. I mean, remember in the original Vacation, Clark shares a beer with Rusty. He's in 14 or something like that by that time. So,
they're not known for their continuity.
Yeah, no.
Well, I know there's even a joke about it in Vegas Vacation where he says, "I don't even know what the kids look like anymore." Even though, funny thing, Vegas Vacation, not National Lampoons.
No, but wait, Cousin Eddie is not his Island Adventure. It's not National Lampoons.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it is. And I was about to be very upset.
But we've talked about everything except the one
items connected to the film. I read the synopsis. We've discussed it. In addition, we mentioned that Juliette Lewis plays Audrey.
Oh my God! Nope. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause.
Todd needs to apologize.
No. It is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Oh no!
Does that mean?
But you know, I'm going to be honest. By that point in time, that name National Lampoon was more of a hindrance than a good thing because they slapped it on all this direct-to-video crap. Although I do love National Lampoon's Dorm Days, the name didn't have the same as it did the first go round. So,
that's unfortunate. Now back to Christmas Vacation.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Now, it was Johnny Galecki, a young Johnny Galecki, playing the role of Rusty in the film. Now, it was I guess it's kind of awkward because you would assume that in the original movies, Rusty's the older sibling by like a year or two. But in this Christmas Vacation, this Audrey's like years, like 5, 6 years older than Rusty. So that played it a little odd. Now, still funny, still entertaining. Loved every second of this movie. Now, when we mentioned in the synopsis about a Christmas bonus, the Christmas bonus in the film is supposed to be used for a swimming pool, which made me think, I just had to write this down, a swimming pool in Chicago. Because I mean, and it's very evident that it hammers in this Chicago. He wears the Chicago Bears hat half the movie, and there's a scene where he's wearing the Chicago Blackhawks jersey, which Greg, I'm sure you appreciated.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of now, usually with each episode that we do here with each film, we pick a favorite line. But because this one is supposed to, I guess, parody family get-togethers at Christmas, you could say. I wanted to have you guys pick out a moment that really calls to your specific experience with Christmas that may be separate from your favorite line. Now, in terms of the moment I got to pick is the turkey dinner. As soon as he opens it, and it's like, of course, it's exaggerated with how dry it is, and people are dipping it in the water. But the reason that calls to me so much is because my aunt made a dry turkey once. So
oh no,
me and my sister, like the way everybody was like hard chewing on it and nobody's gonna say anything, no, it's fine, and they just eat, right, and just drink water. That's how everybody was. It was just everybody was like chewing on this turkey jerky and just reaching for the water and more Diet Cokes. But that was the Christmas moment that called to me.
Yeah, my
experience. What about you guys?
My old neighbor, actually my old neighbor and juggling partner, Chris, him and his wife have a tradition. And by the way, before I forget, that pool can double for an ice skating rink in the winter. And if they're hockey fans, it works out just fine. But nonetheless, they had a tradition, same as the Griswolds, where they go to this place, they drive for like an hour, they end up chopping down their own tree, and they invited us to go, and we were just like, I don't know, we don't really have room for a tree, we're good, we'll pass, so we didn't go on the experience, unfortunately, but they bring it back after some time, and they invite us over, and that thing was way too big for the house, like just like the film. Like it's hitting the roof, it's bent over on the top. They had to chop off a bunch of it. Like it was brilliant. And I just looked at him and I go, "Are you now Chris Griswold?" And he was like, for a second, he goes, "Wait, oh damn it, Craig."
Well, they hopefully brought a saw. Cut it down.
Oh yeah,
they didn't have to. They have to pull it from the root. Okay, good.
No, they were lucky enough on that one.
Todd,
I really don't have, other than I like to torment my neighbors too. I don't really know.
I figured you appreciated the Jason mask with the chainsaw.
I did, but that also is a thing where it's like, it's not. See, this horror nerd's gonna come out. People sometimes do that. They put Jason and a chainsaw together, but that's not correct. Like Jason never has a chainsaw. Two different franchises. But it's been embraced. There's actually Fright Rags, a horror company, has made numerous shirts with that image.
Interesting.
But you'll see that a lot in like cartoons, Simpsons and stuff of Jason with the chainsaw. But
I understand to a degree because there was a game called Die Hard Trilogy, and
the PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah, except I
love that
had it for the Sega Saturn, but same thing. Ananyway,
no, it's not.
Shut up. The first level or the first game, so to speak, is the original Die Hard, and you're like you're third person John McClane, and you just shoot terrorists on each level, and you just level up, keep going up the elevator. What bothered me is that, well, first when you would get a machine gun, he would say, "Ho ho ho! Now I have a machine gun." But in the movie, it's inversed. He says, "Now it's written on the sweater. Now I have a machine gun." Ho ho ho! But the thing that really bothered me were the shotguns, because there is no shotgun in Die Hard. In fact, John McClane doesn't use a shotgun until the stupid Russian Die Hard movie, which I'm not going to give even the respect by using its actual title.
It's a trilogy. We'll go.
There you go. He never uses the shotgun. He uses a shotgun in Last Boy Scout. He wields one, but he does not use one in Die Hard. So similar to your point when Jason doesn't have a chainsaw, John McClane doesn't use a shotgun.
And that game was awesome with the light gun. Just gonna.
Oh yes. And what was cool about those games at that time is you could put the game in a CD player and get the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And those songs were pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I just
miss them a lot.
I just got to say,
Probe Entertainment, shout out. Sorry. About Christmas Vacation. I apologize.
Ozzy found a way on one of the Christmas shows to finally bring up Die Hard.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. And no one should be surprised at all.
I thought we were going to have a 1 week of Flesh Wound action or something just so we could talk about it.
I literally thought about that as I was watching Die Hard earlier this week. I actually thought about a Flesh Wound action special. But moving on with Flesh Wound Farce right here, right now, we'll jump into our favorite lines, specifically that made me personally laugh so hard for me. And this is, I just want to venture a guess and think that there is a lot of improvisation going on in this particular scene. It's when the grandparents arrive. At first, the doorbell, and it's just so slow, and they approach the door, and you see each individual of the Griswolds, and they react in their own way, knowing what's about to happen. And the door opens, and then everybody just starts talking. And I don't know how much improvisation was in here, but when Ellen's mother turns, I have hemorrhoids. And she says, "Oh, mother." I'm not sure if she was expecting that. It definitely didn't play as she was expecting that. That reaction seems so natural. I'm not sure how that scene happened, but it was so that made me laugh quite well, particularly. And also just a shout out to the line, "We'll be happier than Bing Crosby tap dancing with Danny fucking Kaye." Because his eyes get big, and I could sympathize with somebody who has random outbursts of rage.
Real quick, does Aunt Bethany's voice sound familiar to anyone?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who it is? You already have this info?
No.
Oh, she is the original voice of Betty Boop.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
She was very funny playing. Now, is it Ellen's aunt or Clark's aunt? Because they both
I believe they're Ellen's. Yeah, I don't know which is like.
Hold on a second, though. Uncle Louie, cigar, right?
Right.
He is in the home video that Clark is watching when he's up in the attic. That is presumed to be his old home videos, because you see Clark as a child, where you see Uncle Louie.
Then maybe it is Uncle Louie and Bethany's by marriage. She's not like actually her aunt. You know what I mean?
It just seems that Ellen has more sympathy, plays as though they're her part of her side. But I think you just fall under that assumption because of cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to. I love a well set up joke. Like, if you have timing perfectly down and you have a great setup, and a pause, and then you just knock it out of the park. There's no joke better. Like when you have a moment where you're setting up saying grace, and you're telling them, like, there's the joke of, oh, she can't hear, and there's the yelling at her, they want you to say grace, and then everyone takes a moment, they pause, there's a beat, there's that silence, and then out of left field, the Pledge of Allegiance.
Howard just goes along with it.
Oh man, I was in tears.
You know what gets it for me?
Uh-huh.
When Cousin Eddie stands up to put his hand on his head. Every time, that's what gets me.
You know, I don't think he was acting in that film, though, now that I know who he is as an adult. Like, the way he's aged, it seems like it was just go in there and read the lines.
So would that be your favorite line, scene, moment as well, Todd?
No, well, it's actually anything with Uncle Lewis. The one that cracks me up every time is when he tells Bethany, you couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant. Every time. The tree going up in flames, the whole I love him. He's like the unsung hero for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely cracked up at that moment as well. Now I'll just jump into the ratings real quick. I gotta say, I can easily give this a solid 4. I think in terms of, I don't know, it seemed that this was a better movie than it was a comedy. Like I would actually put it at a half point more to say to grading it as a movie alone, but as a comedy, I'd want to give it a 4 out of 5. Just because I'd want a few more, something like, as I was watching, something seemed, I don't know, slow at a point. Like, I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it, but when I was done watching it and I was thinking of an actual rating, as a comedy, I felt most comfortable giving it a 4.
That's fair. I was really not sure how I was going to go with this when I was going into watching the film, because I think in the past 10 years I've only caught it on TV where you catch it halfway through and you're like, this is a great movie, and never really started it from the beginning again. But some of the subtlety in the film, like as a movie, it's fantastic. And some of the subtlety that I didn't pick up when I was watching it fully, and like I said, I haven't caught the beginning in a while, but things like where he's turning the pages of the magazine and his fingers are sticking. And I was just like, wait, why? But now watching it, I'm like, oh, the tree. And so it was really fun to go back, and I felt it didn't slow down. I just felt like there was always something building. So as a story, it was fantastic. It made me laugh harder than I've laughed in a while, since probably some of the earlier films, the Mel Brooks films we watched. I can't give it anything less than a 5. So this is going to get a 5-star from me.
Fair.
I'm actually in the middle at a 4.5, but I want to ask Ozzy, do you think it's because, and I notice this more every time I watch it, has the same issue that Christmas Story has, and that is it's a bunch of random scenes, like a bunch of comedy bits, like kind of smashed together with the little.
I think that's what it is, because I think that's why they added the advent calendar in between each scene, so that way it wouldn't seem such like, because it was like from scene to scene to scene to scene, and maybe that's what I felt was missing. But it is interesting that you mentioned that, and there is moments in the film where they add in an advent calendar scene where you just see a random hand opening one of the calendar days, and maybe it was put in there because maybe somebody thought the way you did, is that it seems like just a bunch of scenes at Christmas put in together. But
yeah, I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I have a love for sketch comedy, and so I think maybe that's why it plays so well with me, and I love that about it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely a fair point. And in terms of some smaller roles, Brian Doyle Murray is in this movie, and we watched Caddyshack earlier, and Brian Doyle Murray plays the owner of the Caddyshack itself. And also, Brian Doyle Murray is who plays Frank Shirley in the film, also plays the clerk at Camp Comfort in the original Vacation. If you forget, he was the one that comes out eating the watermelon after Clark rings the cowbell for service. So same guy from the original Vacation is Frank Shirley in this one. And his characterization of that grumpy CEO is so, I mean, he does it in Wayne's World kind of too, just, more of an idiot, but it just like the scene when Clark comes in with the gift and he's like, well, I'm sorry. I got to take this call. Get me somebody, anybody, get me somebody while I'm waiting. Just great stuff there.
He's not Mr. Spacely, is he? Because he seems basically the same.
Maybe that's where he drew the inspiration from, because he has the mustache.
Yeah.
Single mustache there. So, but still, absolutely a great film that everybody should watch, even outside of Christmas. I think still fares well. Definitely better than.
And AMC has done 24-hour marathons in the past.
Okay, there it is.
So
maybe they're trying to catch something.
There you go.
But speaking of catching, you can catch a new episode next week. See what I did there? Yes, that's what I'm paid for. That's right. You'll see a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, or hear a new episode next week as we review Scrooged, starring Bill Murray. Now, I didn't even realize that we had just organically gone back to back having a movie starring Chevy Chase and a movie starring Bill Murray after Dan Aykroyd, and Eddie Murphy. Just fantastic stars here on Flesh Wound Farce that we discuss and review. Greg and Todd, anything else before we say goodnight for this week?
I'm just excited to see Huey, Dewey, and Louie with Scrooged. That'll be fantastic. No,
I got some Ozzy next week. Can you comb the hair or something?
Shut up, Todd.
How'd the Raiders do?
You know what? This isn't even about football. I just wanted to bring up the line that we didn't even mention, that we have a producer, Todd. One of those popular lines from this movie is, and why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
And here's a little tidbit. Bethany is also a character in this movie, which is my wife's name. Mm-hmm. So I'd always do the impression of, the Bethany line. So I never got the carpet one, though. She's not a quote person.
That's unfortunate, because I think one of the first times we were working filming something, I had just dropped the line and looked at you like, Todd, and then you just shot back without even missing a beat. I don't know, Margot. So that's what happened. It's the truth. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back with reviewing and discussing the movie Scrooged, starring Bill Murray. So once again, he is Greg Larson. That is Flesh Wound producer Todd. And I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.